BQ's back, baby, and this is my top 10 of 2019. Hit the music!
This is Birding with BQ. Living hard to bird hard. All the time.
We are live on the Bethel Springs Elementary School Nature Trail, the place I birded the most in 2019. And today, we're going to recap the best birds I had throughout the entire year. An amazing year of birding, loaded with great memories and great ornithological challenges. Bird number 10 comes from Northampton County, Pennsylvania, this past March. My boy Chad Hutchinson and I were lucky enough to chase and get to successfully see the varied thrush. And now, for the world premiere of my 290th Pennsylvania bird. The varied thrush. It was a new Pennsylvania bird for both Chad and I. However, it wasn't the most exciting bird we saw that day. In fact, later that day, we went and we got to chase a lifer boreal chickadee in New Jersey. However, that bird did not give as great of views as the varied thrush did. So the varied thrush wins this one. Number 9 takes us back to Trenton, New Jersey in February of 2019. Out of all places, a sewage treatment pond, a West Coast species, and a lifer, the Townsend's Warbler.
There it is. There it is.
Back under the ramp right now.
Interesting to note, however, this is before I started announcing birds as world premieres when they were new for me. And also, the observation of this bird had a little bit of obstruction, if you will.
Excuse me.
I'll just move it, hold on. You know, I could have been mad about it, but you know what I did? I just moved the scope over a couple of feet, and then, after a few minutes, the Townsend's Warbler popped out, making everybody in Trenton, New Jersey that morning a winner. My 316th New Jersey bird and life bird, Townsend's Warbler, baby. Wow. Number 8 takes us back to August in the summertime. A very hot morning as I went to Lehigh County, Pennsylvania to Trexler Nature Preserve to chase the highly coveted and totally awesome swallow-tailed kite that spent some time there. And now, for the world premiere of my 297th Pennsylvania bird, the swallow-tailed kite. Another bird with another obstruction. This time, a man and his lawnmower. And he was not going to let any bird or birder get in the way of where he wanted to mow. You know what? I got to give him some credit. And I still got to see the bird, which was pretty amazing, but very difficult to document because I had my phone on my scope and I was tracking the bird on a tripod using manual focus. An amazing challenge, especially in the heat with all that sunshine making it hard to see the screen. Number 7 takes us back to Pennsylvania at the end of August and beginning of September. A bird that I had to chase not once, but twice, and it even made me stay out late on my birthday to get it. But I did. The highly elusive king rail.
So that bird looks like an adult. I was trying to look at maybe a female.
You still on?
Mm-hmm. Working his way to the right.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely stressful missing it the first time, but so sweet getting it the second time. A great lesson in patience and persistence. Number 6 took us to tax-free Delaware, a saga that took 2 years to complete. I went first to see this bird in February of 2018 and missed it. It returned to the feeder the next year in January of 2019, missed it again, but I got it on the 3rd try. A handsome male painted bunting. Mamma mia! Number 5 takes us just a few minutes down the street from this very nature trail. A bird that I had back in November that was new for me for the state, number 299. And a bird I went to see twice, the Anna's hummingbird.
Frigate feathers just look like they're like loose, like they're all like blowing around in the breeze. Isn't that crazy? Like
Aside from this bird being an incredible bird to see here in Pennsylvania and a third state record, this bird was amazing for me because I captured the exact moment on video when I actually got to see the bird. You can see me going from my narration mode switching into business mode in this clip. Mike DeFina has arrived. And now for the world premiere of my 299th Pennsylvania bird, the Anna's hummingbird. Mamma mia. Number 4 was not a lifer, it was not a state bird, it wasn't even a county bird. But this species is just so awesome. This bird, a snowy owl. The story of this one began early that morning when my friend Jesse Tyler sent me an Instagram story from someone who's not a birder, but had found a snowy owl in downtown Philadelphia perched on top of a pole. I was able to pass the word along to a couple other Philly birders who were then able to locate the bird, and I zipped down after school to get glimpses for myself. On an unseasonably warm day in February, this bird was a complete and utter shock and an absolute gift. Unbelievable. On a 60-degree day in early February, right there, perched on this school in Port Richmond, Philadelphia, a snowy owl. Incredible. Just walking past to my car, and there it is. Number 3 is even more unusual to make the top list than the snowy owl in that this bird isn't even a wild bird. Number 3, believe it or not, the mandarin duck. Check out this video that I recorded back in January of this past year. Because of the popularity of the mandarin duck that was in Central Park in New York City, people here in Delaware County started to take note of this very fancy duck on Instagram. And NBC 10 actually ran a news story talking about this duck. But that was just the beginning. Other news outlets started to reach out, and I had my photography published in a variety of sources, including the Philadelphia Inquirer. And that story led to another news story later on in the school year about birding in my classroom for the Philadelphia Inquirer. I even got to chat with the fine folks at Good Day Philadelphia on Fox 29 about the appearance of this mandarin duck.
So Brian Quinlan is on the phone with us now, avid birder, and he happens to be a 5th grade teacher at Bethel Springs Elementary School. That's in Garnet Valley. Brian, thanks for joining us.
Hey, thank you for having me. Good morning.
Now, are you eager or have you yet been over to Ridley Park Lake?
Well, I was over there in mid-January, the first time that I saw the duck, and actually it ended up being the only time that I saw the duck, because not long after that I photographed it, the lake froze over, and not just the mandarin duck, but all the ducks had cleared out.
Okay.
So to the haters out there that want to dispute the mandarin duck being number 3 for the year, I hear you. It is not a naturally occurring species. However, this species did help me connect people with nature in a very big way. So for that, I am very thankful.
Well, they call it the hot duck, Brian. You know what I mean?
I mean, have you seen it? It is a hot duck.
It's very hot.
Number 2 is a tie. I can't pick just one between these two birds. These two species were seen on the same day towards the end of 2019 on what was one of the greatest days of chasing rarities I ever had. And both of these birds marked a major milestone for me. Number 300, the ash-throated flycatcher. And number 301, the green-tailed towhee. And now, for the world premiere of my 301st Pennsylvania bird, the green-tailed towhee. Again, mamma mia. I have it in the scope if you want to see it.
He's got it in the scope. He's got it in the scope. Look in the scope.
Oh, for God's sakes. It's out in the open. If you look, there's a knot in the tree, straight down. Just finally made it all the way down the Yellow Brick Nature Trail to species number 1. And this bird was an incredibly special bird for me. It was a lifer, and I got to see it with the boys of Sweet Chin Music at the biggest week in American birding, the highly coveted Kirtland's Warbler. My lifer, Kirtland's Warbler. Mamma mia. Kirtland's Warbler was first seen when we arrived at the biggest week in American birding. In fact, it drew massive crowds and actually caused people to be a little nasty, throwing elbows and saying some pretty mean things to us guides as we were trying to see the bird. Long story short, in the madness of everything, I didn't get to see it.
You know my mother.
Yes.
Absolutely.
I was heartbroken. Kirtland's Warblers do show up at the biggest week in American birding, but they happen very infrequently, maybe every couple years or so. So the fact that we got there and missed one immediately was a huge heartbreak for us. However, it ended up being somehow not the only one. On the last day before we went home, one showed up in someone's yard on the shores of Lake Erie, and it drew big crowds to see it. These rarities are bringing the crowds for the birds once again.
The light there. Yeah, maybe not.
And even more exceptional than that, at the same time as we were looking at the one on the shores of Lake Erie, another one was found back at McGee Marsh Boardwalk, which oddly enough, we were just standing right near there when we went to go chase that one. But you know what? I'll take it. I want to get the... Oh, no. In 2019, I was fortunate enough to tally 405 species, 90 of which were lifers for me. Now, my life list for the world stands at 612 species, and the United States, 531. I was also fortunate enough to go birding in 3 different countries, 7 different United States, and film 42 different episodes of Birding with BQ. But most exciting of all was accomplishing my New Year's resolution, growing my Pennsylvania life list to 300 species by the end of the year. 2019 was a big year for me personally, professionally, and ornithologically. 2020's got some big shoes to fill, but good news, we got big plans coming. But until then, I want to thank everyone who supported me in 2019 and had kind things to say about Birding with BQ. I'm looking forward to bringing you along in this next decade. Until next time, stay fresh, and peace out, y'all.